morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Is it a good morning? We're going to make it a good morning. No matter how you feel, no matter how you've been feeling before I came on your screen, no matter how you feel once I'm gone, we're going to have a great hour. And before we before we begin, I'm sure many of you are logging on. Many of you have missed all of this little diatribe of mine, so I'm going to repeat it. But before I repeat it, let's say first of all, good morning to Grey Eagle, who is, as always, standing to my right side here. And let's say good morning to Chris. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Rosemary. How are you doing today?
Oh, fabulously. Now, where are you? Where are you, Chris?
I'm back in Vermont.
All right, all right. It occurs to me. When it's Christmas and everybody starts to sort of Christmas Eve, everybody starts to follow where Santa goes. Which country is in now? Have you ever done that? Which country is he in now? And you sort of can track him. I think he starts. Well, obviously starts from Iceland, and then he goes all the way around the world, and then at a certain time in every country, you can see where it's been. And I feel, Chris, that are you in a sleigh, or, or just or just driving along in the car, but we're checking every point of where you've been.
Yeah, my son Calvin said to me after I get done with the whole trip that I should do it like a map quest and put a dot every place I actually stopped. It will be real interesting. I think I
Yeah,
have I think I have over 7,100 miles on this trip so far.
geez, that's a lot of miles. 71. Wow, 7,100. Wow, that would be seven. See, I don't understand why Americans do that, because we would never do that. We would say 7,100 and something. And when I first came to the States, and people would say to me, and that's 81 something, I would think that they meant 81, not 8,001. I remember I was in France once, and I was in this very beautiful store, and I can't remember now it was that I was buying. I think it might have been a pen, and they gave me the price. Of course, they gave me the price in francs, but it's the same kind of thing. They gave me the price in francs. I'm thinking, well, that's not bad converted to. I forgot to add the noughts, so I almost landed myself in big trouble. And then my daughter, who was with me, said, she pointed out, I think we've forgotten a nought, and then we sort of slunk out of the shop, sort of kind of crept out before anybody would realise that we didn't have that kind of money. We were in Saint Tropez, and it was a very, very, very exclusive place. If anybody out there listening has ever been to Saint Tropez, wow, it's an amazing, amazing place. I mean, they have the harbour there filled with the most unbelievable boats, helicopters on the front of the boat. Can we call it a boat even? What was it? Loads of different sizes and shapes. Helicopter on the front, a little motorboat on the back, beautiful, like massive lounge areas with big cushions. We'd never seen such, decadence and luxury. And why am I going on with this? I don't know. Anyway, but here I am in Saint Tropez, and there was this remarkable, beautiful thing, a sailboat, and it was a very big sailboat, but it was all wood, shining bright, beautiful wood, the whole thing, the masts, everything about it. And it turned out that the boat belonged to, I can't even remember his name now, but the guy who played, do you remember Simon Templar? You probably don't remember the guy who played Simon Templar, but anyway, it was this guy's boat. And we were just sort of agog. And we were also agog because there we were sort of, we sort of just tourists, and there were people walking around us, people who obviously live there, people who are used to being there in the most incredible outfits, fabulous, beautiful outfits like you would never see. And there we were. We felt very much like sort of the mice in the corner, the poor relation, whatever it is. But anyway, enough of France now, enough of Saint Tropez, enough of all of those escapades that we used to get up to. Um, so, I have a guest here with me this morning in my house. Once again, we have Mary Lou. Say good morning, Mary Lou.
Good morning.
So, she doesn't want to participate, except I might ask her, "What do you think? And what do you think about what this person said?" So, okay, let's get back to. Let's remind us. I'm waffling on here. Let's remind ourselves, for those of you who have joined a little late, um, whatever you were thinking before, whatever mood you were in before, whatever is going on in your life, for this one single hour, we're going to pretend here that nothing is wrong in the world, everything is right in the world. Of course, we know we're not being realistic, but still, we are going to take this opportunity to have fun, to enjoy the show. You can ask me any questions you like. Of course, I can decide whether to answer them or not. But Chris, on this bright, fabulous Thursday morning, whatever it is, November the 3rd, 3rd? Yeah,
Yes, the
right.
3rd.
Okay. Thought I'd lost you for a minute. Um, on November the 3rd, we are going to have this hour to really just have a little bit of fun and enjoy. And before I say, Chris, is there anybody there? Before I say that, I just want to mention uh, last Monday night was Halloween, and we here had a blast. Mary Lou was here. Mary Lou, did you have a blast?
Oh, it was a great time. Thank you very much.
Chris, you were our fabulous facilitator. Did we have a great time?
There was such great fun in the air that night, yes.
There was, wasn't there? It was really great. And for those of you who didn't join in, for those of you who are not able to join us, probably out trick or treating with your own kids or grandkids, um, it the fun began before we even went live on air, because we had Mary Lou's parents. We had a friend of Mary Lou's. We had when I you oh no, let me be clear. We had people coming from the spirit world. My living room was filled with people from the spirit world. We had Chris's husband, who, let me tell you, was having so much fun, um, playing with skeletons and
Spiders.
rattling. No, he was not the one with the spiders.
Oh, he was.
No. Well, he might actually. He might have been. Actually, he might have been. But playing with skeletons and rattling bones, and who else did we have?
Your friend?
My then my daddy was here, and my brother was here, and for the first time ever, my father's father, for some reason or another, maybe it was because I was thinking about him a few days before, but my grandfather, who I've never seen, never met when he was on this side, never seen before, never glimpsed even in the spirit world ever before, came and stood by my father, and there were these huge hairy spiders coming out from the corners. All of those who came to visit us, they were having so much fun. At one point, Mary Lou was sitting on the sofa with me, and at one point, I just sort of, from the corner of my eye, I could see something going on over Mary Lou's shoulder. And then I could see this hand creeping along her shoulder and coming around like this. And those in the spirit world, they were having so much fun with Halloween. So yeah, we had a lot of fun, and then we had some fantastic stories. And thank you to all of you who wrote the stories. And I don't know how we're doing collecting addresses, Chris, of all the people who want um, the set of CDs, but we were giving away. And in fact, let's do it again today. If you want a set of CDs, there's five. There's five in the set. The I think the worth is something like $75, right? If you buy four CDs, you get $10 off or something. But anyway, the overall price of the CDs is $75. You can have them for free, providing you are willing to pay postage and packaging. So race to the email, let Chris know, and we shall be sending those out as soon as we have all of your information. Remember, they make fantastic Christmas gifts. And Thanksgiving is coming up. These CDs, when I'm talking about these CDs, they are meditation, healing, um, really, really incredible and beautiful. I share them with all of my patients, and uh, my all of my students have them. They're great. They're great to listen to. Have you ever listened to any of them, Mary Lou?
Listened to, yes, a couple of them, yeah.
So what do you think?
I was amazed. They
Lovely,
were very good.
lovely, aren't they?
They
Chris,
are.
Chris, I know that you listen to them. What do you think?
I think they're absolutely necessary. I mean, we think about when you had the healing center in Vermont that
Oh
they would
yeah,
be played,
yeah,
every single time people came, and
yeah,
obviously great things happened.
yeah. We in our healing centres in England, we would put them on. They're very relaxing for people. So if people came and they wanted healing, sometimes for minor things, sometimes for much more major things, but we would always have the CDs playing in the background. We'd always have the meditations playing in the background because they are soothing, they are relaxing, they're really, really uh, quite incredible. So if look, we're offering them. This offer is not going to last long, let me tell you. But if you hot foot to your email and you email Chris Kris at rosemaryaltea.com, or if you email Rosemary at rosemaryaltea.com, absolutely, we shall. As long as you pay postage and packing, we will send them to you as my gift for this sort of ending the year on this fabulous gift. What else can I say? Also, yes, a lot of you know people are saying, "How do we get the newsletter?" You have to subscribe. You have to go to rosemaryaltea.com, which is my website, and you can go in there. You can take a look around and see what we're doing, what we're up to. We are actually planning another cracking up session. I have the dates, but I've forgotten what they are. But I'll let you know soon enough. But we're doing a cracking up session with my friends Kay and Kay from England, and we'll see what they've been up to. And again, any questions now? Both of these girls have been my friends for, if I told you how many years, you might guess how old I am. I'm getting older by the minute, by the way. Because I'm getting older by the minute, let's move on and let's go to ask Chris. Are you ready, Chris, for this big, big question?
Yes, there are, and they're beginning to type in their questions. We have a couple already.
Okay, let's go then, shall we?
All right. This is from Cheryl. Do people choose a body image on the other side, or are they just energy and light?
Ah, I like this question. Well, one might say, how can they have a body anymore because they've left their body behind? So, um, let me explain that when we are astral traveling, for instance, or when we're moving about, uh, going from not just not just going into the spirit world, because astral traveling isn't necessarily just about going to visit our loved ones in the spirit world. Astral traveling can be nipping to your neighbour's house next door, or checking on a friend who's sick, or we can move about this earth plane just as easily as we can move about the spirit world. How about that? You see, every time you come on this show, every time you watch, you can learn something new, something exciting, something different. So we have, when we leave our spiritual body, we have what is known as the etheric body, the spirit body. Same shape, same size, same, you look just the same. And so when we leave our physical body, we travel using our etheric body. And when people come to me from the spirit world, I can see their spirit body. Well, it's just like a body to me. Just, don't consider it necessarily an ethereal thing. Um, when I see people in the spirit world, I see them perhaps as they were, or even healthier than they were. And sometimes I've actually described people that I see, and they are unrecognizable to the person I'm describing them to, because the person that I'm describing them to remembers the person who's been sick, emaciated, lost weight, had no hair, etc., etc. And I thinks that that's what I'm going to see, and that is not what I'm going to see at all. I see them well. I see them healthy. Sometimes they do describe how they looked when they were sick, how they lost weight, how emaciated they were, etc. So that you might remember. But I never ever see someone in the spirit world who is emaciated. Rather, I see healthy, strong, and So, do we choose? I don't think necessarily that we do. Um, uh, I think if you were fat when you left here, you're going to be fat when you leave. Maybe you'll look a little less fat. Who knows? I don't know, but I'm not sure that we choose, because it really doesn't matter anymore. Our physical body matters to us because, uh, well, first of all, it matters to us because we need it to be as healthy as we possibly can. Although you wouldn't think people did, their bodies did matter to them, because they eat all the wrong foods and so on. But our beauty matters to us in this day and age of, everything is about beauty. Everything is about, you can go and get your boobs done easily. It's like, it's just one of the things people do. It's a natural thing. You can get facelifts. You can get, what else can you get? You can, I don't know, you do all sorts of things. And every magazine you open is about beauty, or for the males about the muscle. So our physical appearance has become far more important to us than perhaps it actually should, in as how we look and how other people perceive us and how we perceive ourselves compared to other people. I know, I think that when we have left here, there are far, far more important things to think about, and we realize that. And so I don't think we necessarily, uh, if I could choose, let's say I'd be a lot less fat than I am. I'd be much more perfect than I am. But we know there's no such thing as perfection. We also know, I mean, this is the truth for every one of us. One eyebrow is a little higher than the other. Our nose is off to one side more than the other. But that it's a fact. For women, one boob can be smaller than the other or bigger than the other, depending on how you want to look at it. One foot is slightly bigger than the other. We know we're not even. We know we're not perfect, but we're still striving for perfection, aren't we? Would I want to be perfect? No, I don't think so. I think I'm happy with how I am. Maybe a few less wrinkles, if I'm honest. Other than that, no, I'm good. Uh, I think the answer to that question is no. Right, Chris, keep going.
All right, this is from Lisa.
Okay.
Good morning. I always wondered about my actual ancestors and
Oh,
which one gave my dad a few slightly webbed toes than me. I then gave them to three of my four children, with the one being the most likeness to my dad having toes. Anyway, my daughter had a boy who has webbed toes exactly like my oldest son, most severe. I cannot trace them back past my dad. I always find myself looking to the clouds, walking through cemeteries and meditating, waiting for someone to give me answers. Not that I really need them, it's just something fun.
um, the good thing about toes is you can cover them up, right? The good thing, you can put shoes on or socks on or something and nobody can see. I also have, well, I don't think it is a deformity, but my son in law thinks it's really ugly. Who cares what he thinks anyway? I don't, as a matter of fact. If anybody saw my feet, both feet, as deformed, little deformed or something, well, too bad for you then. But my daughter uh, inherited my weirdness, which is not weirdness at all. I think it's a sign of intelligence, and I think it's a sign of beauty, and I think it's a sign of being unique. Not that we're totally unique, but we did say we were going to have fun today, right? But my second toe, here is, I'm giving you a fact. Here is something about me that's so personal, not really, but my second toe is a little longer than all of my other toes. It's longer than my big toe. Might be a little bit more than a little bit. Which makes it difficult if you're buying, how when you fit your kids for shoes and so on, right? You fit your kids for shoes and you feel the big toe to see if the end of the big toe is coming up. Well, it's not easy to find shoes that really fit and are comfortable. I'm not. Trust me, this is not like Pinocchio's nose. The toe hasn't grown this long. It's only maybe that much bigger than my big toe. But uh, I love your story. I love the web feet thing. The good news about it is, if it impairs your walking, you can easily have corrective surgery on these things these days. Can you imagine years ago when you couldn't? Um, Nobody's going to lop off my second toe. I'm not going to have corrective surgery. My daughter certainly has the same, and she looks at me as if I've given her something really terrible. Especially when especially when my son-in-law looks down and curls his lip and turns his nose up and makes it look as if it's the most awful thing in the world. But then that's anybody who thinks that is, well, I think, dare I say a moron? Oops, I just said a moron. Anyway, we are having fun today. We are having a wonderful lightness. I've no idea which ancestors your kids inherited this from. Weirdly, my father had perfect toes and my mother had perfect toes. My brothers had perfect toes, if you're counting that the toes aren't long. And my sisters have perfect toes as well. I'm the only weird one. Trust me, not only in the toe department, I am the only weird one in my family, and I quite like it. Chris, keep going.
This is from Barbara.
Yeah.
Hello, Rosemary. I have a question about my beloved dog, Zoe, who is 11 years old. She is having knee surgery on Tuesday. I am worried. Will she be
Yes.
okay? Is my husband Don watching over us from the other side? And is he still near to us every day?
You do know that's three questions, Barbara. But yes, yes, and yes. See how easily I can answer that. And I don't answer it easily because you want to hear it. I answer it easily because Grey Eagle has his hand on my shoulder. So you've got three yeses. Uh, I feel like I'm in a competition somewhere. And you have 3 yeses. You've got 3 yeses there, Barbara. And please know that your darling in the spirit world is watching over you both. All of you, in fact. I'm being corrected. All of you. There you go. Chris, keep going.
This is from Dana. Thank you, Rosemary. In your book, Give the Gift of Healing, you talk about color healing. Do you have further information on color and healing? Those are two of my passions, and I love what you've written in the book.
Thank you. I do. Now, if you go to YouTube, you will find all of our healing sessions. I talk about color, I talk about feeling, I help you to center yourselves, I give little tutorials on how uh, you can give healing, but also how you can receive healing as well. We are going to hopefully start doing that again once the hurricane has sorted itself out, and we're going to definitely do more healing sessions, but you can find them on YouTube. And what are my healing sessions called, Chris?
Healing Hands Around the World.
There you are. Healing Hands. So go to YouTube, go to Healing Hands Around the World with Rosemary Altea. There's so much information. You're going to love it. You're going to absolutely love it. So if any of you want to know more about healing, if any of you want to know more about color, because each color is a certain type of energy. And when we're giving healing, when I teach my students how to give healing, when I give healing, we use color a great deal. My grandson, when he gives healing, he likes to visualize colors because it's easy for him, and he knows how to surround, he knows how to visualize, and he knows how to surround me. When he gives me healing, he surrounds me with all of his favorite colors, and he just sends me lots and lots of energy and lots of healing. It works. It's amazing how it works. So not only uh, can you teach yourselves about this, you can teach your kids, you can teach your grandkids. My grandson is very, very receptive to this. Well, let's face it, he doesn't really have a choice, does he? He sort of lives in it. And if he's sick, which from time to time he has been, the first thing I will do is say, let Mosey give you some healing, darling. And he's so receptive to it. But he also, because he is receptive to it, and because he feels when I give him healing, he feels something special going on. Of course, he naturally, if his mummy's sick, he wants to give his mummy healing. And if I'm sick, he wants to give me healing. So this is not just something you teach adults. This is something you can help your children with as well. Teaching them about energy, teaching them about how to use their energy in a very good and a very beneficial and a very, very positive way. So there you are, Chris.
This is from Shamanth.
Hi,
How
Shaman. I loved your story, by the way, just saying.
How does the concept of time work in the spirit world? How do the departed ones in the spirit world perceive time? Can you please explain?
Well, I have talked about this quite often. Um, I have talked about it. It's to really understand it. We need a lot more time. So let me just say that why don't you check out some of the stuff that's on YouTube that I've done. I'm sure we've talked about time, and I'm sure we've talked about how very, very different time is in the spirit world. And when somebody in the spirit world will say to me, oh, you're soon going to experience this, when they say soon, or when they say recently, okay, let's say you recently painted your door the color red, which we really like. Okay, when they say recently could be anywhere between 6 months to maybe even a year, because the spirit world views time in a very different way. Recently, to us, those of us who are still on this earth plane, we think, no, I didn't paint my door recently. That was ages ago. I painted that door a year ago. It's very different. It's a whole different concept. So when we think about time, it's a whole different concept that they have in the spirit world to time as we view it in this world. When you think that, let me see. When you think that, I'm trying to think of another example for you. When you think that, let's say someone is 90 years old, you think, wow, that's an awfully long time. But to the spirit world, it's that much time. It's a blink of an eye because the universe holds so much more. There's so much more for us to see and to do. We are relating time to our earthly existence. We are relating time to the 24-hour clock that I don't know how long ago if anyone knows how long ago we've had the 24-hour clock. They used to use sundials years and years ago before we had clocks, and then but which is why we get the 24-hour cycle. But I think we relate time here to this earthly going through a day. But let me put it this way: a day here lasts 24 hours. A day in the spirit world can last a very long time because it's not really a day; it's an experience. It's moments. It's very, very different. Very different. I hope that's probably made you have more questions than answers, but that's what we do, don't we? When we're teaching our children, uh, we hope that if they ask us a question, we hope that we give them an answer which leads them to think of more questions because we want them to be curious and we want them to be educated and we want them to learn. And they're not going to learn if they simply take our answer and, okay, then that's it then. My daughter used to drive me crazy when she was when she was speaking when she was just under a year old. We have tapes of her. Somebody's asking her, Samantha, how old are you? And she would hear her say, I am 1 year old. And she was speaking very early on. And one of the things that drove me crazy was she would say, Mummy, why? Why so and so? And I'd explain, yes, but why? And I'd explain, yes, but why? And I vowed to myself that I would never say, because I said so. Because, after a while of why, you want to shut your kid up because, but I don't think I ever said because I said so. I really tried really hard, but it would drive me crazy because she was always why. Reese is the same. I hope your kids are the same because when kids are like that, it shows that they're curious. It shows that they have a curiosity, and it's our job to help them to understand the world that we live in. So when I give you answers, I'm hoping you're coming back and say, yes, but Rosemary, yes, why? Because that's the way we should be. Okay, Chris, keep going.
Rhonda wants to know, how do people in the spirit world know who to go to if they need rescue? I've been wondering that since our conversation on Halloween rescue work.
Oh, well, it's easy, really. If someone in is, and let me say again, Rhonda, I hope you enjoyed Halloween. We all, I think, enjoyed Halloween. Um, Let me just say again that rescue work is very rare. Rescue mediums are even rarer still. But when someone let's say, when someone gets stuck, or when they, for whatever reason, through trauma or through fear or whatever it is, they pass into the spirit world, but they, for some reason, they don't want to move on. They don't want to move forward. They don't want, and they're just digging their heels in, or they do move forward, but they only move a certain way forward, which requires, let's say, a rescue. Um, it's they have their loved ones. Remember, we all of us have our loved ones. We all of us have our family or our friends who are waiting for us. So they know. If How can I put it? I'll give you an example. Okay, let's say, okay, that there's a story in one of the books about a little girl who needed rescuing, and bless her, she'd been sick for for all of her 4, 5 years, 6 years, however old she was, I can't remember now, but a lonely little girl. But she'd always, because she'd been sick, she was in a lung machine for most of her life. Because of this, she was given everything naturally. Her parents, friends, all of her relatives spoiled her rotten, as you would. And so she just, when she was when she passed, it was going to be on her terms and nobody else's. And she, I'm not doing this. I'm not going there. Don't think, though, for 1 second that she was there saying that all by herself. Her family in the spirit world, people who loved her, her angels, all of those watching over her were concerned for her, and particularly her angels. So, particularly when someone needs rescuing, our angels are there. They will not force us, but they try to encourage us. But if, as this little girl did, for whatever reason, no, I'm not doing that, not going there, then our angels make sure that there is someone there to help them and to guide them, because you can't leave someone to be by themselves, and whether it's through stubbornness or whether it's through fear or whatever it is that they're refusing to move forward, they and in my case with rescue work, and as I say, very few people are able to do this rescue. You have to be you have to just be have a certain type of energy or whatever it is, compassion and patience and so on. But then this is when a rescue medium is called upon to help. It is an extreme case when a medium is called upon to do this. It's a very extreme case, but because don't think that those in the spirit world aren't doing everything that they can to help. But also remember, it's not just rescuing. I'm not just a rescue medium. These things teach me something too. They teach me the pain and the trauma that people go through, and how we need to handle that gently but firmly. And and I learned my deviousness from my father, and it has stood me in very good stead over the years. He was such a smart man, my father. He knew just exactly how to get his own way, in a good way and for good reasons, not any detriment to anyone else. And he taught me to be smart, and he taught me to be, let's say, a little devious. He taught me to think outside the box. So this is how, when we rescue people, this is what we have to do. We have to think outside the box. And I'm not doing it on my own, remember. So who chooses? How does it happen? Uh, for everyone who needs rescuing, there are people, there are their family, there are their angels who are sending out their concerns to the universe and to that universal God force that is out there, and they find some means, some way of helping this person. Nobody's stuck there forever. Gosh, I'm giving you so much information, right? Anyway, I'm glad that you're asking these questions. So this is really good. I feel like I'm a teacher today. Are you having a fabulous hour with me? Mary Lou, are you having a fabulous hour with me?
Absolutely.
Are you learning? Are you learning anything?
I am. I'm enjoying the questions and definitely the answers.
Chris, are you having a fabulous morning with me?
Every single time we do this, it's a great time.
And are you learning anything?
Oh, I love it when people put in the questions because we all learn. It's just for that person.
No, that's not what I asked you. I said, are you learning anything?
Some of these questions we've heard over the years, so I'm sure I'm learning something. It's just I'm busy in the chat room, so
Okay, I think probably we absorb it over time, don't we? We learn it, when afterwards, perhaps when we think about it. But What I love is this: when I am imparting all of this information to all of you out there, even as I'm imparting it and even as I'm busy, I'm also learning, because whenever you talk about these things, there's always something that there's always a little piece of information that surprises you. Oh, I didn't realize that, or I didn't know. Oh, yeah, right. And so I think that the teacher learns as much, if not more, than the student. If if you're open, and if you're out there and you're open to learning, and you're open to sort of the information that's coming to you, I think that we I think every good teacher must, as they're teaching their students, stay open to absorbing and learning the information themselves. I've got a little hand being raised. No, it is not my father from the spirit world, although he's just laughing at me because my daddy is here today. But Mary Lou, you've got your hand up. You want to say something?
I do, and what you were talking earlier about the kids and teaching them and their interest in healing and stuff. If you remember, when Gavin, my grandson, has been over here several times in the past, and if he had scraped his knee or something, you would say, "Let me give you some healing." And he is so interested in that. He now does that for me if I hurt myself.
Does he really? That's fantastic.
He's trying to do what you did. Put his hand on it, and
well, I know that when your grandson does come here, and if he hurts himself or bumps himself, or even if he did it the day before, or even 2 days ago, he'll come to me and he'll say, "Look,"
he will,
and he'll can you give it some healing? And I'll say, absolutely. We do need to teach our children, because if we had been taught as children, if our parents had known about this stuff, if it was talked about more openly and more easily, and of course in many cultures it is, but in the Western culture it is not. If we had been taught, then we would have been able to help ourselves so much sooner, so much easier, and we'd have had more knowledge to teach our children too. So thank you for telling me about Gavin. Yes, you're absolutely right.
I mean, he enjoys it. He is interested in it.
Yeah. And also, he's seen me giving healing to his mom and his uncle. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, all right. Moving forward, Chris.
Right. This is from Danny. Good morning, Rosemary Gray Eagle.
Good morning.
I lost someone very special to me yesterday. She was like a second mom to me. Her name is Thea. Do you know if she's okay?
Danny, I was actually going to say that I don't know, because I don't always do this on this show, but apparently I do know, because once again, it's obviously we're having this bright, light, beautiful hour that we're having today, all of us, and apparently, according to my spirit guide, give me one second. Okay, so apparently this lovely lady who passed yesterday, apparently, even though so, let me get this right for you. Let me get this right. So apparently she must have been sick for a little while, but her passing was apparently at the very end, very nice, very quick, very easy. And I am hearing someone other than Greg say, we took her in our arms, lifted. So it is then. Right. So we, plural, we took her in our arms, lifted her carefully, so gracefully, and she's safe. And I'm to give you love from her and from your family and from your angels and from her angels. Graydon has his hand on my shoulder, so we're done. But so there you have it. When Grey Eagle says things, okay, when Grey Eagle talks, when he says things, we may not always like what he has to say. I don't, let me tell you. I do not always like what he has to tell me. I do not always like it when he says I have to do things. And I grumble and I grouse from time to time, but he's always right. And he's always so good about these things. So when I say to you, Grey Eagle says this, um, I can tell you, you can take it to the bank. Do you know what I mean? It's so real, so precise, so and often so profound. So if he's telling us, if he's telling me to tell you that she's safe, that she is okay, trust me. No reason why you should trust me, but trust me. If Grey Eagle says it, it is so. Okay, Chris.
This is from Shamanth.
Yeah.
2 years ago, our family dog Chippy passed away. What happens to the souls of animals after they pass away? Do they incarnate as humans in next life? Is their soul's journey similar to humans? Do you have any information you can give me about our dog?
I can tell you that, I told a story, story time. It must have been a few months ago now. Maybe, I don't know. Time goes so quickly here, doesn't it? But I told a story of how I was uh, with my grandson, and he was. We were having a sort of a celebration birthday party for his puppy who passed. My daughter's puppy, actually, it was who passed. And but obviously Reese knew this puppy very well. He grew up with her. Name is Feather, and so uh, he'd made little cards and he'd made a banner saying "Happy Birthday, Feather," and he'd done all this stuff. And we were having this little party. And as we were sitting there, I not only saw Feather, but I saw Cachorro, and I saw um, no, her name wasn't Feather. Feather's my dog. Her name was Piper. Sorry, my grandson's dog was Piper. So I saw Piper. I saw Feather. I saw Cachorro. I saw Nino. I then saw our lovely Tramp. Then I saw Atlas and Minter, and all of these animals that some I hadn't seen for a long time. Uh, and I'm sure I've missed some, and of course, and Karma. Greg was reminding me of Karma, and as the morning progressed and we were having a happy birthday, I mean, I was so astounded to see all of these puppies coming through from the spirit world to, sort of to celebrate the birthday. And I started to tell Reese, all of these dogs who were around. And then I saw Atlas and Minter, who I had many, many years ago when my daughter was a baby. And I had not seen them for a very long time, but there they were. So still very much on that soul journey, and very much, part of this human cluster of souls. We call ourselves this earth. All of those souls that have been on this earth, animals, um, our pets, our beloved pets, our all of us who have had this human experience. We are called, all of us together, those who have passed before and those who are still here and those who will be coming to this earth also. We are all part of a cluster of souls. This is something that I learned when I learned about souls and soul signs. So if you want to read more of that, you can get the book Soul Signs, which is, well, I tell you, it's an amazing, amazing book. So we're all a part of this soul cluster. And if you know anything about the stars and the planets and so on and so forth, we have clusters of stars like, I'm trying to think, the Seven Sisters is a cluster of stars. They form a pattern. We have the Orion, we have which is a cluster of stars. We have lots of different clusters of stars. They are called clusters. But we, as those who have been on this earth and experienced this earth journey, we are a cluster of souls who connect with this earth plane of ours. See, I'm doing it again, aren't I? I'm teaching again. You are learning something again. And as I hope you're thinking, oh, yes, but if that's the case, wait a minute. What about this? What about that? And so on and so forth, which is exactly what I want you to do, because I want you to be curious. This subject, my subject, our subject, is the most amazing. I always smile when people try to make it sound sort of more ethereal, or people talk about the paranormal or the supernatural, and it sounds good. But this subject is so amazing in itself. You don't need to dress it up. It's more amazing than you could possibly imagine. You don't have to make it more than it is. It is more than we could imagine it could possibly be. Chris, how are we doing?
Good. Annika and a bunch of people after you asked, are people enjoying themselves? Wrote, I always find whatever you share fascinating, even when I already read it in your books.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
And Mark said, are you kidding, Rosemary? Do we learn anything? Every time you speak, we learn and gain wisdom. And with wisdom, I share with those willing to listen in return.
Oh, nice.
Dana says, yes, having a marvelous time. Barb says, I'm having a fabulous time with you as always. I love this.
Well, good. We're so
So
happy for that.
there's a
And
sampling.
sorry, so go ahead, keep going, Chris. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no, I said that's just a sampling of how
Oh,
people express
okay,
to you.
okay. Well, we have a good time, and we, again, as I said right at the beginning of the show, whatever you've got going on, whatever you're having to deal with, sometimes it's something that's fun you're having to deal with. Sometimes Mary is getting ready for her son's wedding. Woohoo! Yes, she's been waiting for this for such a long time, and it's now finally happening. Whatever, whether it's good or if it's bad, if it's difficult, if it's traumatic, whatever it is, sometimes we just have to put those things to one side and give ourselves a little bit of a respite, and enjoy the moment and live in the moment. And so many of us don't even know how to live in the moment. We're so busy, looking down. We're so busy having to deal with life. And I get it. I understand it because I've done the same thing. We're so busy with that we forget to look up. We forget to look outward. We forget to look at the person next to us. We forget to look at our neighbor who is, because if you start, no matter what you are going through, no matter how many difficulties you are going through, as my friend once told me so many years ago, many years ago, no matter how low you think you've sunk, no matter how down you think you've gone, listen very, very carefully, because there's always someone knocking down below. In other words, whatever you're going through, there are so many people who are so much worse and so much worse off than you are. And if we can remember that as we're sinking down, as we're going down, if we can remember, hold on a minute, there are people who are worse off. And not just acknowledge that there are, but make an effort to lift ourselves up a little bit more and be thankful for what we have, be grateful for what we have, be grateful for our families, be grateful for our friends. If we can do that, then we stand a chance of improving. And if we can understand that there are so many more people who are so much worse than us, and if we can just reach out, we maybe can't heal them, we maybe can't make it better for them, but we can send healing. We can send a little tiny drop of ourselves to try to enhance other people's lives. Not easy to do, not easy at all to do, but listen very carefully. I was told so many years ago, because there's always someone knocking down below, and it's so true. So we are having this hour to just give ourselves a respite, to take a breath, and to remember that no matter how dire we think life is, or how difficult we think life is, it's not nearly as difficult if we open our minds and hearts and listen. Chris, let's keep going.
Miriam says, I am talking to Gray Eagle, but I am just human. I can't hear him. How does he like my development, or what does he not like? Much love to you.
Um, I've got nothing for you, baby. I love it that you're talking to him. I would uh, think that when you're reaching out to Great Eagle, what you're really doing is that you're reaching out to all of those in the spirit world who inspire you. You're reaching out to all of those who love you and who you love. And so I think there is a variety of opinions about what you're up to, what you're doing, what you're growing. I think there are so many people out there in the spirit world who surround you. So don't stop talking, but understand that you're not just talking to Great Eagle, you're talking to those in the universe who want to listen to you, who want to hear you, who are interested in you. Not that he isn't, I'm not saying he isn't, but remember when you're talking to stretch the ideas of where your thoughts are going. Chris.
Wookie Bear says, Hi, Rosemary. I had an interesting thing happen the other morning. I got a male voice on my recorder
Oh,
saying hello, and right after, another voice said goodbye. Any idea who they are?
no, but I no spooky, spooky, spooky. That would have been a great one for Monday night. But no, I don't. I'm sorry, but I have no idea whatsoever. Maybe someone's just playing a prank. It could be someone in the spirit world. It could be your neighbor or a friend or just somebody having fun with you. I don't know. But if it happens again, then you know maybe you need to change the recording or something. I don't know. Just yeah, interesting. Chris, keep going.
C says, Do you plan to do in person seminars or tours in the foreseeable future?
Well, do you plan to invite me? Does anybody out there plan to organize an event? We did a fabulous event in Connecticut with our lovely Christy, and I did promise to go back at some point. But if you know of someone who organizes these things, I'll be there in a flash, in a heartbeat. Uh, Provided it doesn't clash with anything else that I'm up to or anything else that I'm doing. But I would love to do more events. We don't have to worry about COVID anymore. But um, as far as organizing events, we need people who are going to say to us, "Okay, we live in whatever, wherever." And we would love to invite you, and what we need to do, and what, and so on, and we'll send you. I say we, Chris, will send you all the information as to what to do. Don't you think that that would be a fun thing to do, Chris? I do.
Absolutely.
Okay, keep going.
This is from Gary. I enjoy your voice on these shows. It always relaxes me. Don't take offense when I say your voice can put me to sleep when listening to your CDs.
Gary, my darling, listen, you are not nearly the first person to say that to me. For all of the years and years and years and years that I've been doing this, I've had people say to me, I could listen to your voice forever, Rosemary. It puts me to sleep. Trust me, you are not the first. You won't be the last. And here's the thing about listening to the CDs, listening to the meditations, and so on, because they're all my voice, and the meditations come from Grey Eagle. So, and they are so soothing and so relaxing. Well, it doesn't matter if you go to sleep because your subconscious absorbs the healing. The subconscious absorbs what's going on. So even though maybe on a conscious level you don't hear me, your subconscious really kicks in and really does and absorbs. That's how wonderful these meditations are. They come from Grey Eagle. They're not. then they're not they're not from me. I'm good, but I'm not that good. They come from both Grey Eagle and myself, actually. And when we're creating these healing sessions, when I'm giving healing to people, of course, part of it is me, but a big part of it is also Grey Eagle. However, it reminds me of the time so many years ago, many years ago, and I was at an event. There were a lot of people, uh, at least 1,000, if not more than 1,000 people in this hall. And when I do in person events, we have a lot of fun. Um, we cry without a doubt, because when we're talking to our loved ones in the spirit world, when they come through to give you messages, of course, it's very emotional. It's very beautiful. It's incredible. But we also laugh, because I believe, and Grey Eagle believes, that with pain we have to find a way to lift ourselves, and laughter, of course, is the best cure of all. But I remember this particular event, and I was having fun, and we were joking around and laughing. The whole audience was crying and laughing. They didn't know whether the tears came from the laughter or whether they came from the grief and the sadness. Of course, we know all of the above, and we had a great event. And then afterwards, someone came up to me, and it happened to be one of my students, which was made it even a little worse for me. And she said, "Oh," she said, "I think Grey Eagle has the best sense of humour. All of the fun and the jokes, they're all his, of course." And I'm thinking, okay, then, I guess she doesn't see me as a part of it. When I say to you, Grey Eagle has definitely given us the meditations and so on. You know, we work together, he and I. So the humor and the fun that we have is with both of us together. And if you were to ever be lucky enough, because you would be lucky, if you ever were lucky enough to come out with us for dinner, or to come out with us to anywhere at all, um, and especially, Mary Lou was saying this the other day, I really like it when you give people messages when they're not expecting it, which we go into restaurants, and at some point I might talk to the person sitting at the table next to me, "Excuse me, do you mind if I say so and so?" And Graham and I start working, but we are always laughing and having fun. We always are, very fun loving, right? Would you say that, Mary Lou?
Yes,
And
absolutely.
so if you're ever fortunate to come and have dinner or lunch, or even come to my house, hey, you're all invited. Um, Perhaps one at a time, not all at once necessarily. But if you're ever at a live event, you will see that we laugh a lot. I did once have a letter from a lovely lady who came to an event that I did in Canada. There were 2 or 3 thousand people there, and it was a fabulous event. We gave so many messages, and we ran out of tissues. The audience ran out of tissues, and at some point, a wonderful lady. We were looking for tissues. People had run out of tissues, and this wonderful lady pulled out a big toilet roll out of her bag, and she said, "I've got a toilet roll, Rosemary." I knew what was coming, and then somebody else said, "Me too." So there are lots and lots of tears, and this lovely lady was there, and she wrote me a letter, and she said, "I don't understand how, when there's so much trauma and there's so much pain and there are so many people in grief, I do not understand how you could laugh and have fun and joke." And I felt so very sad for this lady, because my thought was, when there's so much trauma and there's so much sadness and there's so much pain, which there is in the world, how can you not laugh? How can you not try to lift yourself? How can you not try for some levity in amongst the midst of the pain? Because if you do not find the ability to laugh, if you cannot find that, then you just sink more and more into the depths of what some people would consider hell. Laughter is a healing. Laughter is the thing that lifts us out, reminds us that there are good things, that even though we are still breathing, it's not necessarily going to alleviate the guilt, it's going to make it better to bear, easier to bear. And this is why we laugh, and this is why we have fun. Fully aware of the suffering of people, Rachel and I, fully aware of the suffering, and fully aware that it's necessary to lift and to bring a little levity and a little joy into people's lives as well. It's the most important thing. Chris.
So we are over time. I do have another question that's you'd probably want to
Go for it.
talk about. This is from the initials VM. My daughter, 36 years old, passed away 4 months ago. How can I reach her?
Well, my darling, first of all, let me say that my heart goes out to you. I think, and many of you have heard me say this before, the loss of a child is the worst loss to bear, without a doubt, certainly from my point of view. How can you reach out to her? You need to listen. Give it 10 minutes of every day. Sit quietly by yourself. Don't ask her anything. Don't say, are you there? Give me a sign. Don't do any of that. You find a good place to sit where you're not going to be disturbed. You then reach out to her. She will hear you. You may not hear her or see her, but she will hear you and she will see you. And you say to her, I just want to be with you. This is 10 minutes. I'm just going to sit for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, just to be near you. If you want to draw close to me, I'd love you to. And that's all you need to say. You don't ask for signs, because every time you ask for something, you're putting pressure. You're saying to her, give me, give me, give me. And that's not what you need to do. You need to be very quiet, very still, and just allow her to do whatever it is. She will come around you. And if you do this, it might take you a week, it might take you a month, it might take you a year. But if you do this every day, 10 to 15 minutes every day, just give her time. Just allow her to do whatever it is, to draw close to you. At some point, you will feel either fingers brushing your skin, someone putting their hand in your hair. You might catch a glimpse of someone in the corner, a bright light, or you might hear a noise. You might simply feel breath on your neck. Yes, it is possible. Not only possible, it happens all the time. You might hear a whisper, you might hear a sound, and you might not hear it with your ears, you might hear it with your senses, with every one of your senses. We have the rainbow song, which I teach all of my students, every one of them. The rainbow song, red and yellow, pink and green, orange and purple and blue. You can sing a rainbow, sing a rainbow, sing a rainbow too. Listen with your eyes, listen with your eyes, and sing everything you see. You can sing a rainbow, sing a rainbow, sing along with me. Listen with your eyes, listen with every part of you. It's a weird phrase, right? Listen with your eyes. But what the song is telling you is listen with every single part of you. Listen with every part of you that is sensing and sensitive. Allow yourself to become more sensitive. Again, go to YouTube, go to the videos when I teach you, especially the healing videos, when I try to explain to you how you can raise your level of consciousness so that you can hear, that you can see, that you can be aware. But my darling, you have to have patience. You can't expect it to be like that. Of course, the other way is to find a good medium and to make an appointment and see if you can see if that medium can connect with you. Remember, choose wisely. Remember, choose carefully. Remember, only go to someone who is recommended to you, who's had a good experience. Because as we know, with every profession in life, there are good doctors and there are bad doctors. There are great lawyers and then there are terrible lawyers, and there are fabulous mediums and there are awful mediums. So you can go that way too. But listen with your eyes. Listen with your eyes. Listen with your eyes and sing everything you see. In other words, talk about what you say. So as you're listening, I can see you, I can hear you. Don't ask for anything, but repeat, I can see you, I feel you. Is that really you? Yes, for this 10 to 15 minutes that I'm going to spend with you, I'm going to believe that it really is you. And acknowledge uh, her presence. Let her know. You can do it with your mind or you can do it verbally, but listen with every part of you. I promise you, if you do this, I promise you, if you persevere, I promise, I promise, I promise that it will happen. Do we have any other comments, Chris? Anything anybody wants to say?
Well, VM responded saying, "My daughter used to sing that song as a child."
Oh, wow. Oh, gosh. Well, I wonder what made me sing it too. Well, there you have it. Little indication that maybe it's a message for you personally. So just I cannot imagine, nor do I really want to imagine, the grief that a parent goes uh, through the loss of a child. But I can promise you this, all of you out there who lost a child, I can promise you absolutely this. They are there, they are with you. Radio tells me they are safe, and they are simply waiting. Um, give them the opportunity. When I have people book a consultation with me, I often thank them for giving their parents, their loved ones, and often their children the opportunity to speak. Because every time somebody books a consultation with me, they're giving their loved ones an opportunity to come through and to talk to them. And if we don't give them the opportunity, they can't do it, can they? This is why I'm saying to you, give your daughter the opportunity, sit quietly. Give your loved ones in the spirit world an opportunity to sit quietly and allow them to connect with you. They are there. We often can't see them because we have a shield of grief. We often can't hear them because we're so much in our grief, we're not listening properly or as we should. But, all right, it is time. Unfortunately, I know you all want me to continue now, don't you? Do you know something? I want to continue as well, but I can't. We can't. So, uh, thank you all for joining me today. Thank you, VM, for trusting me and to answer that question for you. My heart, my love goes out to all of you who are suffering. We hope that in this hour we have given you a little respite, we've given you a little delight, we've given you a little joy, we've given you something to look forward to, especially those of you who've lost someone. I can promise you they are there and they are simply waiting for you to give them the opportunity. So thank you for joining us. Thank you, Chris, for your great facilitating. Once again, thank you to Grey Eagle. Thank you, Mary Lou, for joining us today.
Thank you.
Especially thank you to Grey Eagle for being there for all of us and for inspiring me actually to sing that song to you. So until I see you again, we shall be back. Where are we? On Saturday morning. Hopefully, we'll be back with story time. And I've no idea what I'm going to tell you, but I'm sure we can find a good story. And again, you'll have the opportunity to ask questions and connect with me. If you want to know more about us, go to my Instagram, the underscore Rosemary underscore Altea. If you and join and follow and all of that stuff, our website, rosemaryaltea.com, our Facebook page, our Twitter, our all of everything, all of the above. Go, come on. Look, if you love me, follow me. What can I tell you? uh, Go to YouTube, click on, go to the website, go to my website, rosemaryaltea.com, and there's a little button there. If you want to subscribe, click, and you'll get a newsletter from us every month and all of that good stuff. So please, 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 everybody, if you love this subject and you get a lot from this subject, why don't you share it with your friends? Why don't you share it with your family? Just share, 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 and all of that stuff. Because you never know. You think other people aren't interested, but they often are interested in what we're doing. Mary Lou today, later on today, is going to share something that happened on Halloween. She's very nervous about sharing with this person, but she's going to do it anyway because she was asked. So I'm asking all of you, share, 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 subscribe, all of that stuff, and we'll be back on Saturday morning. It's only a couple of days. We're going to be doing some off the cuff stuff. Hopefully, once we stop gadding about, we're going to do some more stuff. And again, as I've said, we've already organised. I've already organised with my friends in England that we're going to do an off the cuff within the next couple of weeks. Hopefully. And if not, the 1st of September, I'd forgotten when I was planning with my British friends the cracking up stuff. I'd forgotten that it was Thanksgiving, so we may have to push it back a week. But we'll let you know anyway. Don't worry. And if you're subscribing, or if you're going to my website, you'll see, won't you? You'll see it all. If you go to Instagram or all of that stuff, you will see what we're up to. So. Again, thank you all for joining us. I love my groupers. You're all wonderful to me. I really, really appreciate you being around. So until I see you all again, please, 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 please have a very blessed rest of the day, everybody, and have a very, very blessed weekend. Bye-bye.